Hello everyone, today we're going over some tips and tricks related to the TRX tuck movement for the month of April. That's the movement that the gym is focusing on. Since you're spending a lot of time putting weight through your arms, you might get some wrist pain, you might get a sensitive wrist. So we're going to go over some tips and tricks for how to deal with that, how to fix that, and train around that all in one. So if you're performing the tuck, you get into this position and you're here and you're doing that tuck and you're getting a lot of pain through the wrist in extension, number one thing to try first would be to turn your hand out. So you'd be rotating your arm all the way out, putting more of the weight through the thumb. So then if you get set up in that position here, you can still perform your tuck back and forth. If that is still bothering you, painful wrist, you can go to a neutral kind of position, placing the weight kind of through your fingers. Make sure you don't have your thumb inside. That would place like a lot of stress through the thumb CMC joint. So what you want to do is make sure your thumb is free, hanging out in that position. Nice neutral position through the grip. That will not be as painful as this. And if that's still bothering you, then you can go to that. So if you're trying to do this and it's painful, that means one thing to start working on will be mobilizing that wrist into extension. So if you take a band, you have it looped around something sturdy that won't move. I'm going to place my foot kind of back here so that won't move. And you'll place the band right around the bottom portion of the wrist. And you're going to have your hand planted flat on the ground, elbow straight, taking your forearm and pushing it forward, extending your wrist. This band is pulling that way, mobilizing the carpal bones, helping you move that wrist into extension. So if wrist extension is painful in a loaded position while you're working on the tuck, TRX tuck, let's start mobilizing that wrist in extension in a little bit of a loaded position, back and forth. If that slides around a little bit, it's okay. There are a couple different rows of carpal bones through the wrist, so you can mobilize both. Okay. You could even change the angle. You could turn the arm out, and again extend the wrist, move the forearm forward onto a flat, loaded hand on the ground. If you pop right into the TRX tuck and your wrist is a little painful, I would do about 20-25 of these, and then I'd jump back into the TRX tuck and kind of retest if that wrist feels less painful. If you're going through all of those and your wrist still feels a little vulnerable, still feels a little bothered, you can always do the tuck on your forearms in more of a plank position. So. All right, that's your movement tip for the week, how to resolve a painful wrist in a loaded extension position with the TRX tuck. If you have any questions, please let us know.